Joining us now, Dave Ruden from the Ruden Report, a regular here on CT Sports Now. Thanks for coming in, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Always good to be with you guys.
It's great to have you. The FCIAC certainly is your specialty, your special niche. Nobody knows that conference like you do. And for high school football this year, 3 teams have reached the state championship game and guaranteed at least one state title.
Yeah, we're going to have one, and it's going to be a great game. Greenwich and Darien, I think everybody has, as the season progressed and we saw that Greenwich was for real, we knew Darien was going to probably be in this position. I think this has been a really anticipated game going into like 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the regular season. It was almost like, great, we're going to have the Turkey Bowl with New Canaan, and then great, we're going to have Darien and Greenwich playing each other.
So let's talk a little about Greenwich, because what we're seeing here is their victory over South Windsor, which, by the way, was a terrific defensive performance by the Cardinals. But not everybody thought that this team would be as good as it turned out to be this year coming into the season, perhaps not even head coach John Marinelli.
I was just going to say, it's funny, and I spoke with him about this a little bit because I said to John at the beginning of the year, how are you going to be? He was sort of non-committal about it. Good, but... And the other day, I said, John, come on, we've known each other a long time. Did you really, were you playing possum with us? And, and he said, I thought we had the potential to be good. I didn't know that we were going to mature as quickly. I didn't know that we're going to have as much depth as we ended up having. And that really has been the case. You look at a lot of their top players, they're juniors and sophomores. I mean, we got enough to worry about Saturday, but when the polls come out for next year in September, we're talking about this. Greenwich is going to be pretty darn high because they got a lot coming back, but just talking about right now, they really don't have any weaknesses, and neither does Darien, and I think that's what makes this such a good game is its strengths against strengths.
Darien has fought through the adversity of the off-the-field situations with the arrests of those 3 players and a couple of them not playing, and Minikis apparently will not play in the final. Outside of the situation, I think they've done an incredible job of staying focused and getting to this point. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, they regrouped. I mean, they had the loss to New Canaan on Thanksgiving. It was a bad loss, and I think they just, they were. I think they knew something could be happening. They didn't know it was going to happen on the eve of the game, but they've done a great job regrouping. I think it was very big that they got Jack Joyce back. He'd been running the offense all year, plus the fact that the type of quarterback he is, he offers that element running as well as passing, and that was something I think they really would have missed had he not been playing anymore. And, there's a lot of talent on the team, and they have depth. It's kind of like last year we said, they're losing all these guys. How are they going to be good again? And, look what we have here. And we're going to be doing the same thing next year. And some of these guys who've come in, and they've got a really good defense. I mean, these are 2 really, really good defensive teams. A lot of guys, Connor Fay at linebacker, Connor Tinkin in the secondary for Darien is, I think, my most underrated player in the whole league. He's done an unbelievable job shutting down top receivers.
Let's talk about, since we just talked about the defenses, let's talk about another FCIAC team, and that is St. Joe's with that high-powered offense. They get the quarterback coming over from Fairfield Ward, and this guy has been lights out all season.
Oh, yeah, they've just, they picked up where they left off last year with some different people. The one thing that I think really speaks to how well St. Joseph's done is you look at Jared Malazzi, who's their top receiver. I think last year he ended up with 100 catches. I think he's somewhere around 75 right now, and people are saying he's not as good as he was last year. No, 2 or 3 people are covering him all over the field.
They spread the ball out.
But you have Phil Pasmig at receiver, you have Jesse Bike, you have Diamantis. So David Summers comes in, and that's to have that many quality receivers, and then obviously Jaden Sheridan in the backfield and a good offensive line, which I think that was the one area that was really the uncertainty was the offensive line. And the Hogs have been Hogs, and so they don't miss a beat. They've been the one team that hasn't been a surprise from beginning to end, I think. Everybody has had sort of veered off road maybe at one point or another. They've pretty much just been, I don't think...
the way they opened the season, right, with the victory over New Canaan, what was it, 38-35 in that victory over New Canaan, where they came out and punched New Canaan in the mouth real quickly, and New Canaan was able to kind of get back into the game before St. Joe's put it away. But, they had that one
setback
loss
against Darien, and
against
everybody
Darien,
was losing to Darien, so I think
Yeah.
that was, they really are the one team I think that had the season exactly like you expected them to have.
And I think that says a lot because there's pressure when you have such high expectations. And Joe Dellavecchia's group, everybody expects them to be where they are for Saturday against Ansonia. It takes a lot to deal with that, especially in a league like the FCIAC. Ansonia, I mean, it's no secret that
they've dominated the
they've
non-Tucker
dominated
League,
the NVL for many, many years. St. Joe's, as good as they are, you can't say they dominated, but they win on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah, they're right in they're getting to the finals. They're always in the mix of things. They're usually a team, maybe one loss during the season, 1-2 losses, not more. Joe does a great job there. He's just an outstanding coach, and that's another Class S. I mean, that was another collision course. I think everybody back, maybe late October, early November, we're looking at S and double L and these two trains that were coming right at each other.
So let's talk about St. Joe's for a second, since you cover the FCIAC as well as you do. St. Joe's having itself a terrific fall. Now, in the championship game in football, already the girls soccer champion in Class L, and then in volleyball, the Class M champions with a victory over East Haven. They got to be loving things over at St. Joe's these days.
Yeah, they powerhouse. I mean, the FCIAC as a whole this fall has just been unbelievable. This is one of the best falls, and I actually think it's been a down football season going by the regular season, at least. It wasn't a great regular season. There were a few good games. I don't remember, if you take football and cast it aside, I don't remember a better fall in maybe ever, where there were good teams and there were competitive races. I mean, you went into the playoffs in literally every sport, and there were like 4 or 5 teams that you could give realistic chances of winning.
Let's just go over some of the fall sports. Girls swimming, Greenwich with the Open Championship, as well as the Double L Championships with Ridgefield as the runner-up. Boys cross country, Staples, the Double L champs, the runners-up to Xavier in the Open Championship. Girls cross country, Danbury, the runners-up in the Open Championship. Greenwich, the runners-up in Class Double L. I mean, we can keep going. In fact, I will. Ridgefield over Staples. So 2 FCIAC teams going at it.
That was a great game.
That was a great game.
That actually one of the best plays I've seen all fall. If it's, I'll plug. You can go find the video on my site. But watch the first goal of the game, Claire Middlebrook's goal, set piece from about 30 yards out. As perfect a ball as you could strike.
Well, we mentioned St. Joe's winning the Class M championships in volleyball, but Greenwich, the Class Double L champs in volleyball. There's a lot of, in field hockey, Staples over Darien in Class L.
And you had FCIAC teams playing each other.
Yeah.
I remember that, the big Saturday, and it's like, how do I try to cover everything? And you had, I think, 8 FCIAC teams playing in 5 different games.
So how did you cover everything?
Yeah.
I had a little help of my friends, and unfortunately didn't get to everybody, but I think we had 5 of the 8 teams covered or something like that.
Well, can we put you on the spot real quick? And who do you like Saturday?
Boy, I go back and forth. I really hate picking against either team. I'm gonna like by this only because they've been there before. Go with Darien, but I'm going like by that. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's going to be a close game. I would be a little surprised if it's a blowout either way, but I guess you give Darien a little bit of an edge just from having been there before.
Both teams with good field goal kickers, so I could see this game
That's another thing.
Yeah, I could see this game being a 9-6 game too, because the defense is so
I
good.
posted a story just before I came here, and that's the one thing that John Marinelli was stressing, special teams. And actually, I had his father, Lou, break down the game for me too, and he also said special teams. So
I mean, I've seen Greenwich, I think, block 3 or 4 punts, turning a couple of
Tyler
touchdowns.
Blizzard's had a couple of nice blocks in there
Let's
this
hope
year.
we don't have. He's the only Blizzard we have on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's actually what we're talking about. I guess we may be getting a little visit from the Snowman for the first time. So, a couple of years ago, we had that Darien New Canaan state final in Boyle in the snow. It looked nice.
Yeah, listen, you stay warm for a couple hours, and then you go sit in front of the fire. Yeah. Dave Ruden, if you haven't checked it out, listen, regardless of whether you're following any of the FCIAC teams, it's great coverage of high school sports. It's the Ruden Report. Dave, thank you so much for coming in. We always love having you.